Hey my friends, uh, the title of this video today is the the truth is the detail. The truth is in the details. I hope I get that straight. I hope I get that straight. Yes, the truth is in the details. Yeah, that's a nice start to the video. I'm able to laugh at it, but it's very sad. But I mean, I have an excellent sense of humor, an excellent sense of life, so I'm able to laugh at it. But it's like it's really sad, and like I'm thinking about my situation, and I have a lot of problems that have to be dealt with, but like I can't deal with all of them. Like I mentioned, like I have 25 or however many lawsuits that I have to prosecute because if I let these bastards get away with murder, it's murder, and I also have to make myself whole, and um, I have to I have to have myself compensated for all the wrongs that were done to me and all the damage that was done to me. So what if I didn't fight those lawsuits and get the damages and the compensation? Where would I be? I would be like I've lost all these years and all my all these chances, and in many cases the perpetrators have gotten away with unlawful profits on top of the damage they did. And where would I be if I didn't fight back and get compensation? And of course, the problem with that is that with these 25 or 35 lawsuits, and that several of the lawsuits are involving multiple companies, how do I even have time to fight the lawsuits? How do I even have time to do all the paperwork and writing and arguments and everything? And then the whole process would take like 10 to 15 years or more with all the appeals. So how would I even do that and still have a life and still enjoy my life? So I'm between a rock and a hard place, and I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't, as usual. But I also wanted to talk about the fact that the truth is in the details, and all the things I've said previously, it's far more complicated than I was even able to explain. Like I gave a rough outline of some of the things that happened, but there's so much detail and complication and explanation within all of those facts and all of those stories. Like I would have to explain each story individually, and I would also have to explain what I have to do about each situation individually to make people understand, to make you understand what the truth is and what I have to do about it. And then there are further complications also. Like for instance, yesterday I tried to fly to New Zealand because I wanted to pick up my luggage that I had to leave there when I had to leave Auckland like a month and a half ago. And when I got to the airport to check in at Emirates, um, I was flagged by New Zealand immigration on the computers, and I had to. Emirates called up New Zealand immigration, and they gave me the phone. And New Zealand immigration said that that they suspect I came to New Zealand um, with dishonest, ungenuine intentions. And I said, why is that? And they said, well, you filed for refugee status. And I said to them, well, is filing for refugee status illegal? Is that against the law? And they said no. But because you filed for refugee status, we believe you came to New Zealand with dishonest intentions. So I explained to them, well, I decided to file for refugee status after I arrived in New Zealand because my circumstances changed. But they still insisted that I came to New Zealand with dishonest intentions, but they have absolutely zero proof to prove that or to think that. And yet they still are deciding that they won't let me into New Zealand based on that totally false, unsupported assumption because they just don't want to allow me into New Zealand. So governments are fucking assholes. Governments are screwing people left and right, up and down, over and over, because like the main business of government is taxation and power, and they just want all as much power and as much money as they can get for them and their friends, and they'll screw whoever they need to, whoever it's most expedient to screw, if only if necessary, in order to get that money and power. And so, like now, New Zealand is screwing me because, in their view, in the Border Patrol's view, it's better for them if they don't let me into the country. And then their excuse is that I filed for refugee status, which is totally legal and supposed to be totally legitimate. But remember, they don't care about human rights. They don't care about what's legitimate and lawful. They don't care about the law and human rights and United Nations treaties and all that, and the Constitution. They don't care about the New Zealand Constitution. That's totally meaningless. That's just a formality and a legal formality for them when they have to go to court. All, they don't follow the law at all. The law is meaningless to them. They don't care about the law at all. They just always do what's in their interest, and they always do what gets them the most money and the most power. And if they have to deal with the Constitution and the laws, that comes later in court, and they have lawyers who can argue around that. And so, like, that's just a technical formality that they have to deal with at some later date if they have to deal with it. So, like, now I can't go back to New Zealand unless I apply for a visa ahead of time, several weeks ahead of time. Um, so, like, I have a lot of problems because I also want to return to New York to look into what's happening with my counterclaim against Capital One Bank, but I can't go back to New York unless I have a guaranteed return out of New York, because I don't want to get stuck in New York either with my mother or with all the assholes in the New York City government, the New York government, who don't like me because I embarrass them. So going back to New York, especially because of my mother and her craziness and her harassment, is very dangerous for me, and I feel like I should stay away from New York. But the other thing is the weather. Like, it's getting very cold in Australia and New Zealand. It's getting very cold, and it's like bothering me. Like, it's getting so cold that it's bothering me, and I just want to get out of here and get to a warm place. Um, and there were some examples I wanted to bring up about how the truth is in the details. Um, like, I'm trying to think of a good example to bring up about that. Um, but one doesn't come to mind right now. The saying is the devil is in the details, but that's like a lawyer's That's a lawyer. That's lawyer talk because they want you to think, oh, looking into the details is evil, so the devil is in the details. But actually, the truth is in the details. That's the real. Because they want you to think being real and being truthful is being devilish. I think. I think that's what lawyers, because lawyers want to fool everyone. So lawyers want people to think if you really look at things honestly and you really deal with things honestly, face to face, that's that's bad. That's what lawyers want you to think, because that's what lawyers do, and they want to be the only ones who do that. Lawyers want to be the only ones who deal with things rationally and logically, because they want that to be their own special franchise. So I guess that's the end of this video because I can't really think of any good examples about the truth is in the details. But I mean, people know that. They know that. Well, it's the complications and the details about what happened, which really tell the truth about what happened. But unfortunately, I'll have to make a separate video when maybe I'll have to write down um, some specific examples of what I'm talking about. And I think most people know what I'm talking about. But so it's actually a very beautiful day right now, um, and there are a lot of beautiful women in Melbourne. Uh, um, all the time, which presents its own challenges as usual, for me at least. But I'll have to sign off from this video now, and I'll see you on my next video.